Hillary has a big problem as she goes into the election, which is, can she be certain of the almost unanimous black support that Barack Obama got at the polls and the increased turnout that his candidacy generated among African Americans? In the 2012 election, for the first time in history, a higher percentage of eligible black voters voted than of eligible white voters. And Hillary needs that in order to win. So she has now entered the controversy over the Chicago shooting of Rahm McDonald, who was a teenager who was shot by the Chicago police. The facts, as recorded by a video cam on the officer's car and also by the autopsy, is that Johnson was holding a knife. A cop got out of the car. 7 or 8 other cops converged on the scene. The cop whose name was Van Dyke, demanded that McDonald drop the knife and then fired 16 shots at McDonald, 9 of which were in his back. And McDonald was far enough away from the cop that there was no chance that the knife could have been a threat to his life. The dash cam video was made contemporaneous with the killing, but was not released by the Chicago Police Department until just recently in response to an FOI request by an independent journalist and by the Chicago Tribune. There's a lot of speculation that the reason this video was not released was that Rahm Emanuel was running for re-election and ended up being locked in a very difficult runoff with a black opponent. Emanuel, of course, is white. And that video could have had an inflammatory effect that would have made it very hard for Emanuel to get re-elected. To add to the mix, a few months ago, the Chicago City Council approved the payment of $5 million to McDonald's family as compensation for the death in the shooting, even though the investigation had not been completed and no judgment of wrongdoing was found. A lot of critics have said that payment of $5 million was to buy the silence of the McDonald family so that they would not speak out against Emanuel. Now all of this has come to light. Emanuel has fired the police commissioner, and Hillary has called for an independent civil rights investigation by the Justice Department of the episode. At first, Emanuel opposed that. Now he's flipped and saying he would welcome a systemic investigation about problems with the Chicago Police Department. But what's happening here is that Hillary is trying to use this incident in Chicago and her calling for an investigation to identify herself enough with the black civil rights community and the Black Lives Matter movement so that she can generate a high turnout and strong support from the African American community. And in the course of it, she's throwing under the bus Rahm Emanuel, the mayor of Chicago, who worked for President Clinton in the White House and has always been closely identified with the Clinton family. This is more complicated because Obama, of course, is from Chicago, and Emanuel was his first chief of staff and remains a very close friend of the president. Interesting stuff. Thanks for watching.